You're listening to Procurement 6, the weekly podcast from the team at Art of Procurement that summarizes this week in procurement in just 6 short segments.
Hi there, I'm Kelly Barner, and today is Friday, July 7th, 2023.
6.
This week's Procurement 6 is brought to you by the 2023 SaaS and Software Spend Management Survey we're running in partnership with the team at Productive. SaaS applications are affordable and easy to sign up for. That is great for the business, but challenging for procurement. We don't want to be a roadblock, but we also need to optimize the whole portfolio of IT spend, maximize per-app returns, and protect against information security risks. If you'd like to take this quick survey, check out the link in the show notes, and you'll also have an opportunity to enter your email address to receive the results.
5.
This week's Art of Procurement podcast featured me, which is funny. Art of Procurement has been producing Dial P for Procurement since March, when my weekly show was picked up by the LinkedIn Podcast Network. I'm proud to represent not just Art of Procurement, but also the procurement community as part of LinkedIn Presents. Dial P is a completely different format from AOP. Each episode is around 20 minutes long and allows me to explore a topic related to procurement and supply chain, or which applies a wider lens to a subject that will help you in your career. I've covered a wide-ranging set of topics: Bed Bath & Beyond's bankruptcy, using the Socratic method to lead change internally, cybersecurity, and of course, generative AI. And if that's not enough, just know this: the show is fully endorsed by Philip Eidson. How's that for a listening recommendation? We're running the Dial P episode about a procurement scandal that seriously rocked the boat at Kraft Heinz in the AOP feed this week, but there is lots more to explore. Check out past episodes of Dial P by going to artofprocurement.com/dialp, and please take a moment to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform.
4.
Speaking of Dial P, this week's new episode of the pod looks back at the Great Resignation. What was it? What impact did it have? And how might it change the talent landscape going forward? I learned 2 particularly interesting things in my research for this episode. The first is that most people who resigned did so for the change itself, not necessarily the position they were moving to. That has led to some dissatisfaction, called boomerangs, and even some people switching back. The second thing I learned is that today's talent shortages means people don't necessarily love their jobs, and it could lead to passive-aggressive behavior. It doesn't take a stretch of the imagination to realize this might mean an increase in maverick or non-compliant spending. Procurement should be careful, of course, not to crack down unnecessarily, but maybe we should be on the lookout for signs of increased off-contract or excessive spending among frustrated teams. To listen to the whole episode, you can either visit the Art of Procurement website, subscribe to Dial P wherever you listen to podcasts, or subscribe to the Dial P for Procurement LinkedIn newsletter.
This is Procurement 6 from Art of Procurement. To get notified every time an episode is published, go to artofprocurement.com/subscribe. 3.
In this week's episode of the Sourcing Hero podcast, I welcome Nicole Glenn, the founder and CEO of Candor Expedite, and a passionate supporter of women working in supply chain and logistics. Nicole is part of the Ladies Leadership Coalition, a podcast for women in business by women business owners. Despite the broad, supportive corporate messaging around diversity and inclusion, the real work has to take place on an individual level. one person at a time. As each person becomes comfortable enough to find their voice and use it, our workplaces and professional communities will continue to grow in diversity with representation among people from every walk of life. I encourage you to listen in using the link in the show notes, listen on Una's website, or find the Sourcing Hero wherever you listen to podcasts.
2.
There was a very interesting article in this past Saturday's Wall Street Journal reflecting back on Pride Month 2023. Don't worry, I'm not going to get political on you. But this article dug into lessons learned this year, and I think procurement can really take something actionable away from what they summarize. The net of the article was that companies who invest in the LGBTQ community all year long, through meaningful events and business relationships, were viewed as more successful by the Pride community and by consumers. Companies that got all flashy just for June are considered rainbow washers, a term I truthfully haven't heard before, but which is clearly inspired by sustainable greenwashing. When procurement wants to make progress towards supplier diversity targets, we should keep in mind that consistency and deep commitment are both more valued and more valuable than loud programs that get a lot of attention but don't actually move the needle. For more, read the article linked in today's show notes. A subscription is required, so if you are interested in reading it but don't have a Wall Street Journal subscription, just reach out to me via email or via LinkedIn, and I'll be glad to gift you a copy.
1.
Before I let you go, we have an upcoming event that you won't want to miss. On July 11th at 11 a.m. Eastern, Shondell Shorter and Joe Payne from Corcentic will join us for an AOP Live completely focused on change management. Everyone's favorite, right? They will answer live questions and share battle-tested advice about how to dig deep and ensure that changes stick, how to fight resistance through active engagement, and how to understand the company's relationship with change based on the success or failure of past efforts. I hope you will register and join us.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next Friday at 6 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you've enjoyed this pod, help us grow and tell your peers to search for Procurement 6 wherever they get their podcasts.